slide. It promises to be a short and a very quick meeting, but endowed with a lot of learnings. So let's stay put. Next slide, please. All right, so this a glance into our program. Between now and roughly 1 o'clock or 1:30, we are done. So as a way of starting, I would like to invite the Deputy Coordinator, Dr. Adobio Keke, to lead us in an opening prayer. Either you can unmute.
Okay, good. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, my coordinator, for the invitation. Without taking much of our time, I have to go straight to the opening prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Amen. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Father, we thank you for each and every one of us here, for our families and loved ones. We thank you for life, good health, and protection, especially as we are in this challenging time in our beloved country, Nigeria. We thank you for NAPE National. We thank you for this amiable chapter, Awka Owerri chapter. Father, we pray for your blessings, especially on those who have continually bring out their time, talent, and treasure for the success of this association. Father, we pray that as we engage ourselves once more in today's continual education series on how we can build a lasting impact through the multivariate nature of Geosciences, we pray that the lectures, the discussions, and the questions, that all will get towards the upliftment of NAPE and the development of the Nigerian oil sector. Father, may this session be productive and fruitful. All these and many more we ask you, O Lord, through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. My coordinator.
Thank you very much, Doc, for that wonderful prayer. So without wasting much of our time, Dr. Kelvin was to come in for safety, but he's yet to join, but I'll quickly look at that. So once again, you're welcome. If you're in a meeting, you may want to mute and lower the volume. If you're driving, you may want to park somewhere to, have the best audio. If you're on transit, just wear your earpiece. Then if you're in office, you may want to be careful not to distract other people. Just sit put, be with your earpiece, stay around the quiet place. Make sure that if you have some electrical appliance by your side, since you're in this meeting, make sure that they are well connected. If you're not using that at the moment, you can pull them off. Stay put. You may also want to grab a cup of tea to keep your blood pressure low and normal as you listen. Once again, you are welcome. I would like to call on the Secretary, Dr. Chimuko. Just our normal routine of trying to approve and adopt the minutes of the last meeting that was held. Just the normal procedure, then we continue. Chimuko, if you can hear us a minute and go ahead with it.
Our
General Secretary.
Yeah. Thank you, my coordinator, and everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning. Yeah, I want to inform you that our minute of the previous meeting that was held in September has been sent to our members, and I've gone through it, and necessary correction has been made, and they have approved it.
Okay.
So without wasting time, yes, I want to notify the head that it has been approved.
All right. Thank you very much, our General Secretary, for that. So it gives us the right standing to go ahead with the meeting. So I would like to welcome the President who is here with us, Mr. Biodun Ogunjobi, FNAPE. My President, you're welcome. I would also like to welcome the President-elect, Mr. John Bosco Uche, FNAPE. Sir, it's good to have you on this call. I would also like to welcome the chairman of this technical meeting. He's no other than Mr. KK, FNAPE. Our chairman, you're welcome to this meeting. I also like to appreciate our guest speaker, who is our very own, Tunbosun Afolayan, for being and accepting to take part in this technical meeting and to give us an interesting topic that have gathered a lot of interest. Tunbosun, you're welcome. For the information, during her stay at the Publicity Secretary, he was one of the ESCOs that helped groom the Owerri chapter. So for me, I feel like she's coming back home. I also want to welcome all the executive members of Owerri chapter. Dr. Dubio Keke, the Deputy Coordinator, good to have you on the call. Thank you again. The General Secretary, Dr. Ifeanyi Chumugo, thank you for being here. Our Treasurer, Professor Ibeneme Sabinus, we call him Wagasabi. It's good to have you on the call. You're welcome. We also see the likes of Professor Antonio Okoro, the chairman of NMGS Enugu chapter. So you're welcome. We also see Professor Amobi. We also see Professor Fadia. We also see Professor Nabo. We see Professor Harry, the coordinator of Uyo Calabar. You're welcome. A lot of people, Valentine and many other, and Dr. Okugo, many other people will recognize you in due course. And at Kenya of DigiConnect, we see you. With time, we recognize you all. Thank you for joining the meeting. Please, next slide, please. So this is just the outlook of the ESCOs of Owerri chapter. Next. Again, this is very important. We also know that Professor C.S. Mwajide is our advisory council. He's a member of the advisory council and he represents Owerri chapter. Without him, a lot of our program will not come to fruition. He acts as a father to us. And some of the ESCO's publicity secretary, Dr. Ogechukwu Onyemesli, currently out of the country, but she's joining the meeting. We also have Dr. Kelvin Chim, also out of the country. He is our technical chair, hopes to join the meeting. We also have our capable financial secretary, Dr. Austin Okonkwo. He will join us soon. We have mentioned Professor Ibeneme, who is already in the meeting, and our YP coordinator with George Okeke. So there you have it. Those are the ESCOs of Owerri chapter. Next slide, please. So it may interest you that the Owerri. This was the 3rd year. We just started the 3rd year of Owerri chapter. And the chapter has been doing well under the leadership of the present ESCO and the support of its membership. Just last year, a university from the chapter won the NAPE Basin Evaluation Competition. That's the University of Nigeria. So you could see that the gallery on the stage that came with a token of 500,000 and a trophy to go with. And amazingly, the chapter last year won the Best Chapter Award. This is quite interesting because we hope to keep up with that standard even as we go through this year. So you could see the President Ogunjimi presenting that to the coordinator of Awka Owerri chapter. Next slide. You can also see that the year has already started. For instance, one of the university within the catchment area just did it's a faculty week or a faculty week, and you could see the number of students turning up. It was an AAPG NAPE fieldwork week, and they visited a lot of places. As we speak, there are plans for other universities to also have their week. We also have the like of some YP from Awka Owerri. They are planning for a visit. We will see that. Next slide. So in essence, the chapter has already started the year with full activity. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of what we expect to see. For instance, today we are already looking at the technical meeting for February. We hope to have one by April. We also hope to have a symposium that hope to be physical, where we will be engaging a lot of government officials and stakeholders. And it hopes to be a joint event between NAPE and NMGS. Our July technical meeting is there. And quite interesting for our members, especially within the Awka Owerri chapter, is there will be a sponsored train the trainer field workshop for young academic and also some practicing professionals. So and there is plans to visit Watersmiths within Owerri here. So you could see a lot of engagement. So watch out for this if you are within Awka Owerri. If you are also in other chapters and something brought you around the Awka Owerri, please avail yourself this opportunity. NAPE is NAPE is one big family. So wherever you are, feel free to associate with any chapter. Next slide. So over the years, a couple of years, we've done a lot of technical meeting. We saw the one by Engineer Okoye on gas utilization opportunities. We also saw the one by Professor Igwe on critical environmental impact signatures and footprint of consistently evolving energy regime. Next slide. We also saw the one by Professor Mwajide analyzing hydrocarbon systems on basics of outcropping analog. We also have another one by our very own President-elect now, John Bosco Uche, on energy transition journey and role of geoscientists. Next slide. So last year we have the synopsis of exploration well failures in the Niger Delta, and it was one of our very own industry experts, Obilaja Shegun, that handled it. Interestingly, we have one of our fellow and currently a member of the BOT, NAPE, Professor K. Mostonoa, who took us through petroleum exploration and production in Nigeria, challenges and opportunities from the 2021 PIA and decarbonization demands and global net zero targets. Next slide. Finally, last year, we also have the entrepreneurship development and continuing education in Nigeria by Betty, Professor Betty Ozumba, a fellow of NAPE. And again, the Secretary of NNGS, Gallo, Dr. Gallo, also took us through the evolving role of applied geosciences in the current energy dynamics. So today, we have the privilege of now listening to our very own Tunbosun take us through the multivariate nature of geosciences and how you can build lasting impact. So please stay put as we go through this. I would like at this moment to invite the president who is on the call. I hope he could be able to talk, to actually welcome our members and also introduce the chairman of the occasion. My president, please, if you are on.
Thank you, Dr. Dean. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so thank you very much. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Executive Council, and the Advisory Council of NAPE, I would like to welcome you all to this technical meeting for the Awka Owerri chapter. I would like to thank the chapter's executive for putting this together, as we do in all our chapters and also at the national body. For NAPE, as we embark on this journey to reposition NAPE for the new energy mix, I'm delighted to inform you that we have done a lot of things, and we are also have so many things in the pipeline that we are doing. First of all is geared towards ensuring that NAPE is well positioned as we transit into the new energy dynamics. First of all, you will notice that during the course of the year, we issue out a KYC, and the purpose of that is because we want to have a robust membership database so that we'll be able to serve the members better. So I would like to also use this opportunity to reiterate the fact that if you have not completed the KYC, please do so that NAPE will be able to reach out to you with the contract addresses that you have provided. We are embarking on so many initiatives, one of which is to increase our collaboration with the academia. And in the course of this year, you will start seeing some initiatives that are tied to bring in a stronger, foster relationship with the academia. And initiative like Peer to Teach program is already on ground. You will start to roll that out in a couple of weeks. We have the Grant in Aid program, which is geared towards increasing research in the academia, and the beneficiary of this, we start getting benefits from this. We have the 20 trainer, and I'm also happy that Awka Owerri is equally doing something in that space. So there is a 20 trainer program that is also coming up at the national level. So all of these are geared towards increasing collaborations between the industry and the academia. We are all not doing that alone. We are also doing our best to build geosciences and public policies. You will recall that during the course of the year, we made a visit to the National Assembly, and the whole essence of that visit is for us to agree on to establish a yearly event that will be called a Petroleum Resources Stakeholder Initiative with the policymaker, so that we use that to strengthen the tie with the lawmaker and be visible where policies and law that will affect our industries are being discussed. So all of these are geared towards positioning NAPE very well to be, as we know, we are the knowledge base of the industry, and there is no way things that will affect the industry will be discussed and our presence is not there. So I would like to thank the speaker today, also our own Tunbosun, and also to introduce the chairman of the section, our own dear Mr. Kano, popularly called KK. Mr. Kano has been one of the strong believers in the association and has always been available each time he's being called upon to offer one service or the other to the association. So I'd like to thank Mr. KK for graciously accepting to also share the section this morning. With that,
President, are you still there? Quite understandably, he is also in another meeting in the conference. Hello, Tunde, can you please confirm if the president is still with us?
I think his network failure.
Okay.
It's a problem of network.
I think we can continue for now.
We can continue.
It's not available right now.
Yeah. He has already mentioned about our chairman. So standing on what has been established by the president, who am I to permission to welcome the chairman, Oga Keke. Oga Keke, please, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Can I confirm that I'm being heard?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So I am standing on existing protocols. I also see that we have very powerful and strong earth scientists on the platform, this meeting this morning. So it's an honor for me to be doing this. Always an honor to work for our president and to work for NAPI. Let me warn up front that if my introduction drags or if I get emotional, please understand me. The person making the presentation this morning through this afternoon is my very special daughter. Very, very special to me. So you will excuse me. Tunbosun Afolayan, TA, as some of us call her, is a Jesus girl. She is a daughter, she is a wife, and also a mother. She is West Africa's first certified strategic communication management professional by the International Association of Business Communications, IABC. She is a strategic business leader with expertise across energy sustainability, communications, and natural resources management sectors with 2 decades of corporate experience. She is principal carbon management for Europe. She's principal at carbon management for Europe, Middle East, and Africa at Sproule. She is a co-founder of ProAli, a communication and stakeholder management company for energy, SCEM, and related sectors. She is a faculty member, corporate communications, Rome Business School, Nigeria. She is industry instructor, School of Public Policy, Extractive Resource Governance Program, University of Calgary in Canada. Her academic affiliations: Energy and Sustainability, University of Cumbria in the UK. Leadership and Entrepreneurship, China-Europe International Business School in Shanghai. Sproule Business Analytics, Business Analytics, Economics and Accounting at Harvard Business School in the US. Postgraduate Geosciences, Robert Gordon University /SITP. She also has a BSc Geology, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. Her executive board activities: Women in Maritime and Energy Awards, Do Thy Dream Youth Development Initiative. Talk about doing your dream. Semse Cosmetics Manufacturing, wow. Women in Geoscience and Engineering, EVP Operations, American Association of Petroleum Geologists. She's a board member of the Division of Professional Affairs and also the Global Co-Chair for Sustainable Development Committee. Awards and recognition, just a few of them. One of top 26 outstanding Nigerian women in Netherlands, 2023. WIME Honorary Rising Women in Energy Award, 2022. AAPG Distinguished Exemplary Service Leadership Award, 2019. NAPE Distinguished YP Leadership Award, 2016. Shell Staff Award, 2010, 2013, 2016. Best Graduating Student, 2003. Pioneering Arts, first West African and therefore Nigerian IABC certified SCMP. First female NAPE University Assistance Program Chairperson. First female Publicity Secretary. Pioneer AAPG Africa YP Lead. She's featured in Energy Focus Report, Major Waves Magazine, The Communications Avenue, AAPG Explorer, and also she's been featured on our own NAPE News. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow earth scientists, join me as we welcome Tunbosun Afolayan as she makes this special presentation. The topic is the multivariant nature of geosciences and how you can build lasting impacts. Tunbosun, you are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Oga KK. I really appreciate the time you took to read all of that. I guess I'm home, so no further introductions. We'll just get right into the subject of today. I'd like to congratulate, of course, Owerri chapter on the amazing strides you have made for the past 3 years. Really exciting to see, and claim me all you want. I'm a pioneering member of Owerri chapter for today. Okay, and I took your advice. You asked us to get our cup of tea. This is my cup of tea. So let's get started. And I'm standing on existing protocol. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has joined us today, especially NAPE members, our fellows, our distinguished members, and the distinguished executive members that are also on the call. Thank you, really. Today we are discussing on a subject that is very close to my heart, not exactly in this format, but it's really about debating and challenging your knowledge of geoscience and what you do with it. For a lot of times, I actually struggled with the subject of geoscience. Maybe not a lot of times, but I had episodic periods in my life where I questioned the real value of geoscience. How do you apply this subject? And beyond
because I worked in the oil and gas, in the mining, and also in the hydrogeology for a long time, I was asking myself this question: so what's about geoscience outside of understanding the subsurface? What can we do with it? How can we actually make impact with it? And that led me up to a couple of discovery. Before we start, I would like you to, for those who are familiar with the Menti, I'd like you to please take a minute, get on this Menti. If you can also share the code on the charts and use this code and just answer the questions that are there. Occasionally, we'll come back to the Menti and I would share the results of this Menti to everyone. So greetings from Sproule. Sproule is a very interesting chapter in my life, and I like to, showcase this organization. Today is my day 29th of working in Sproule, and I can tell you that Sproule is actually a good place to be. And on behalf of the members of Sproule that have supported this presentation, I'd like to say thank you. I'm a proud ambassador of Sproule. So just a few information about Sproule and what we do. The vision is to lead the world in energy knowledge. It's a 70-year-old company headquartered in Canada with different branches in Mexico, Netherlands, and Denver. But the interesting thing about Sproule that I'd like to share with you today is that Sproule was started by geoscientists, and it was started about 75 years ago. So it really shows you the power of geoscience and what you can do with it. So it's a global energy consulting firm, but beyond that, our focused area is around energy advisory, reservoir services, geothermal advisory, and asset management. For the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, we are hoping that we'll bring Sproule to your doorstep, help your organizations, especially when it comes to carbon management and your transaction advisory, as we begin to build sustainable energy development. So that's it about Sproule. I'll get right into my presentation today. Today I'm going to be talking and challenging our mind. So I don't make speeches to just share. I hope that this would also be one of the speech that challenges your mind to think differently about your role as a geoscientist and what you can do with it. My outline is going to follow this trend. I'm going to talk about the bedrock of geoscience. I'm going to talk about the principles that you're aware with. Then we'll go into the understanding of multivariate geoscience and some thoughts, some recommendations on how we can all make lasting impact. I'll talk a bit, of course, because we are in the space of transition, but I'm taking the detour from just focusing on the energy transition to also challenge our mind about the technology transition that we are seeing. And I have a poster that I'm just going to leave on the slide. I won't talk through it, but it's to help you to see your life or maybe your professional life and your professional opportunities in the future. And conversations like this are important because a lot of current happenings makes us to challenge, is there a future in geoscience? So my first question to you, before we get into it, is, have you ever thought about what really killed the dinosaurs? And you can also use the chart to share your thoughts. What killed the dinosaurs? The dinosaurs are an integral part of a geoscientist's life. We know it. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that we know it, but we know it because it serves a very strategic area in our geological timescale, and I'm going to get to it. So while you're thinking about what really killed the dinosaurs, there have been various hypotheses about what killed the dinosaurs. I mean, they are countless. Some people, I'm not even going to let the cat out of the bag, but I want you to challenge your mind and really ask yourself, what killed the dinosaurs? But while you're thinking about what really killed the dinosaurs, I also want to ask you, excuse me, who are the people investigating what really killed the dinosaurs? You can make your responses known on the chart as well. But clear to the people who are challenging or who are investigating what killed the dinosaurs are the geoscientists, not the archaeologists, not historians. It is us geoscientists. Now think back. The dinosaurs have been gone for 66 million years. And the geoscientists who existed 66 million years ago and exist till today, you and I, our job remains intact. because our understanding of the subsurface is not so much of just finding natural resources, it's also helping the world to build and to progress through all the various transitions. So this is what I call the bedrock. So when I was being introduced, I can't apologize for this, but I'm going to be sharing two interesting facts in the Bible that has shaped my understanding of geoscience. When we're growing up, one of the things we read, or the common vocations in the Bible, were shepherd, were farmers, and so on and so forth. But there is a part of the Bible that actually talks about geoscientists. So that's why I'm putting it up to you, in case you have never read it. So it's in the book of Job, and it says, "Miner explores the deepest darkness. We search the depths of the earth, and we dig for rocks in the darkness." I like to put myself in this way, and Tunbosun explore the deepest darkness, and I search for the depth of the earth, and I dig for rock in the darkness. This is our core calling as geoscientists. The picture above is actually to stir your mind. The basic amenities of the world started with food, shelter, and clothing. I mean, if you ask a Gen Z now, they'll tell you is a laptop, is a power source, and data. But basic amenities still remains food, shelter, and clothing. And over the years, geoscientists have challenged the status quo, first by establishing the opportunities for creating energy from basic minerals, natural minerals that exist in the earth. But beyond that, we begin to even question, beyond our basic amenities, what luxury can we share with the world? And you see miners who dig for various good stones, precious stones, enabling our world, driving economical value, and creating sustenance. My second picture shows you the importance of the early challenge of the early challenge that the geosciences conquered. And what does that translate to? That translated to, now us, building families, having clothing, having shelter, ensuring that food exists, etc., etc. This started from a geoscientist mind who challenged the status quo of being in darkness to create natural resources that we have available to us to make life better. And in making our life better, one thing we fundamentally know is that you also expose it to the communities around you. Now let's talk about geology a bit, and then I'll talk slightly about statistics, and then we'll get into the conversation. Every geoscientist in the world knows this, the law of uniformitarianism, a very simple concept that I have applied in every area of life, especially in my professional, and I've found the strong basis in solving problems in challenging status quo. The present is the key to the past. If you don't know this as a geoscientist, if you don't apply it in your workplace, I challenge you to start thinking about it. This simple principle can be applied in every area of your life. You get to work. The present is the key to the past. What you see today tells us about the past. But importantly, it also gives us opportunity to forecast into the future. So you don't discard data that you have, that you are exposed to, but you make, number one, inferences about the past, and you forecast into the future. The geological timescale, oftentimes we look at it from a perspective of, I have to cram all of this, Cenozoic, Paleozoic, Cretaceous, Jurassic, Triassic. But there's so much of wisdom hidden in this. It starts first with you understanding that for each of the time zones, something happened. And those things that happened, they actually changed the way humans lived. And the geologists remain the custodian of this knowledge. So as much knowledge that you have, what are you doing with it? The geoscientist in you is for you to expose all these various understanding and apply it in the various roles that you get to live and occupy in. The second principles, I call these principles because it's a combination of about 5 of the other principles that we know, or 4. So the first one is law of superposition. The younger rocks are always on top of the older rocks. It's the same way with life. The younger person would always learn from the older ones. Are we tapping into mentoring from the geosciences point of view? Are you reading about, historical data, structural happenings that happened prior to us being here to solve problem? It's also the same application for original horizontality. Everything starts as a flat. Everything starts in layers. The same on laws of cross-cutting relationship. And the interesting thing about geoscience, and I'll get to it in a bit, is that for every subject of geoscience, you have to apply all of these principles. There isn't any that does not respect these basic principles. So the multivariate of geoscience is being able to understand the fundamental independent variable, which is our understanding of the earth. I've had several conversations with fellows in NAPE, and I've told them, I think geology is misnamed. I think the right name should be natural resource management. But hopefully, maybe my aspiration will get the voice of reasoning very soon. The other two that are not here are law of fauna succession and law of lateral continuity, law of inclusion, and law of fauna succession. Some people call it fossil succession. But these principles, I have found it working across the three areas of geoscience. In my case, and I know that some people have explored even further areas, mining, hydro, oil and gas, and now carbon management, the principles still hold true. What are the other geo-concepts that geologists must unearth and utilize in their? The first one is uncertainty quantification. There's always the word that if you put two geoscientists in a room, they would never agree. But that's not a bad thing, because what it means is that it opens up uncertainty, and it helps us to understand that a result can either be a yes or a no. So a subject that does not teach absolutism is a good subject in that it shows us the possible wide range of results that we may have. As geoscientists, we also understudy risk and mitigation. I mean, I don't know what level people go to field work now. You'd have to do some risk and mitigation. Do you apply risk and mitigation even as a data scientist, whatever detour you have made as a geoscientist? These concepts hold true. It is also about probabilistic assessments. When you have your results, when you have evaluated your risk, and you have preferred mitigation opportunities, when you give the results, you must show it from a probability perspective, so that whatever results you have a counter strategy in place. So think about mineral development. Think about oil and gas developments. Think about even the renewables. Every of these discipline utilizes these geo-concepts. So the multivariation of geology or geoscience or natural resource management, as we may call it, makes us to understand that there is the principles that we must build up and we must utilize in the various aspects of geoscience we find ourselves. My second image shows you something that is, I'll call a spatial distribution of data. It's really to charge your mind around the geoscience that we have. What is the fundamental thing that we have at our fingertip? So you're going to excuse this lightning. This is my daughter's handwork. I have no excuse for it. It's part of the technology transition that we are talking about. But back to the subject. So I use this to show that the geoscience have a couple of things that are at fingertip. Number one is our understanding of the subsurface. Number two is the data it brings. So on one hand, we understand the principles. On another hand, we have a lot of data. So I'm going to talk about this multivariate geosciences from three perspectives: the subject of it, the data and the scale, and then the impact that we can make. Geoscience is a subject. It is not a discipline. A discipline is something that is taught, or a branch of knowledge that is taught academically. A subject is something that keeps evolving, that keeps challenging our mind and makes sure knowledge is applied. So your knowledge of geoscience is not because you studied a discipline. It's not a course you studied in school. It's a subject you keep exploring. So I mentioned here that geology is important in securing the world's demands of energy. Everybody agrees with that. But have you thought about it being an important part of building infrastructure, advancing science and technology, sustaining the global food chain, predicting and stating our reactions to natural disasters, and everything in between? So when I talk about food and geology, most people that are non-geologists go, oh, how can geologists be in that? But soil science is an important aspect of geology. Understanding the structure of a place is an important aspect of geology. The tectonic ability of a place is an important aspect of geology. So when young professionals meet me and say, oh, they found a job and they don't know if they can apply to it, I'm quite intrigued, because all we need to do is think about which area of my work speak to this subject and how can I, showcase myself or my strengths as a geoscientist to be considered for this opportunity? Or how can I even bring my knowledge of geoscience to solve the problem that is being asked? So what makes geoscience a multivariate course subject? Geoscience actually offers us a complete examination of data, all kind of data, by looking at all the possible independent variables and their relationship to one another. And my next slide just shows you that. So you see, with natural resources, your knowledge of igneous petrology can be applied in various ways, from geochronology, mineralogy, volcanology, petrology, seismology. It just keeps growing, because all you have to do first is appreciating the fact that the principles are the same. The dependent variable is your knowledge. The independent variables, or the multiple variables, are how you can apply it. So think of geology at the core of what you do, and the various knowledge you have and how you can apply it to solve problem. Another poster to challenge our minds. So you see one aspect of geology. From geomorphology, physical geology, you can branch out to so many areas of geology. The economic geology, petrology, pedology, medical geology, there's forensic geology. There are so many aspects of geology now that we have lost counts. The third one is very interesting to me, because it actually lists out the various natural resources that we have at our fingertip that we can apply our geo concepts to. And with the principles that we have, we arrive at a subject called geology, the understanding of the earth, the understanding of the planet, the understanding of the solar system, the understanding of plate tectonics, the understanding of how human race has evolved. That's it about the subjects. Now let's talk about the data that we have. Very short slide. And in terms of data, what are the data that are available to the geoscientists? And what are the skill sets that we need, especially as the world is evolving? Basic data, and this is across all areas of geoscience: geophysical data, geospatial data, remote sensing, geological mapping. Mapping is not only a paper tool. Google image are object of mapping. They're geological map. But I'm not sure, as geoscientists, we have actually seen ourselves working in a Google, because half of the time we are so submerged in the subsurface that we don't recognize the multivariation of the application of geoscience. Remote sensing, I've mentioned about food. Even people who do green farming, how do we apply our knowledge to help advance discourses? Other data include geospatial analysis, hydrological modeling that helps with water, aquifer understanding, aquifer mapping, land cover, EIA assessments, forensic. I mentioned about forensic geology earlier. all the part of geology that it deals with is dating, and we have done this because we understand that fauna and fossils, they actually exist. Fauna, flora, all the bracket of fossils, they exist at a time. And the same knowledge of mapping these tools are what we use in forensic geology, medical geology as well. There are instances where people have made advancements in understanding the aquifer nature, in understanding subsidence, in understanding waste, in understanding how people actually live, the air that they breathe. These all have their subject in understanding natural resource management. So without belaboring the point, my hope is to challenge you here to start thinking so much about the data that you have, what you can do with it. This is a very interesting one. So I took this from LinkedIn. It shows a geoscientist who just lost his job. Short story. And in losing his job, he ended up in the academic. So he was going to teach I think he's a year 1 level geoscientist. And he asked via a poll the skills that people think are useful for continued employment as a geoscientist. Now, if you look at the results of this, you see that new career says one thing, even new joiners. So the new careers are like new joiners, young professional students. They mention, number 1, your adaptability, number 2 and 3, your basic geoscience knowledge and interpersonal skill. If you go across the charts, something is fundamental. Everyone recognizes the need for basic geoscience. And the basic geoscience are the skills that you then adapt to solve problem. In all of this, all the respondents agreed that the knowledge of geoscience, your interpersonal skill, and your adaptability of this knowledge are the things that are important. So what is important here? Just to mention for me, the interpretation of this data. Number 1 is your technical skill, your basic knowledge of geoscience must be up to date and it must be valid. You must broaden your knowledge base about geoscience. You must understand how you can apply it across various sectors. I talk to people about the fact that geoscience itself is a cross-sector subject, and you must always, all of us, must stay curious and we must stay motivated. The third part of it is the impact. So what impacts can we make? So I'm going to be sharing a set of slides that have evolved over the years, but this is my own interpretation of it. So I decided to be more germane, to be more relatable than just picking a slide that shows the geoscience and the lasting impact across the SDGs. The reason why I use the SDGs is because the SDGs means Sustainable Development Goals. The reason why I use the SDG is simply because the world problems have actually been channeled to be these 16 problems. The 17 talks about partnership, but fundamentally, everyone, government, regulatory, humans, environmental body agrees that if we can solve the 16 problem, half of our problems in the world is gone. Remember, I talked about the fact that the geoscientists are the ones that are chasing who killed the dinosaurs and what killed the dinosaurs. And in understanding what killed the dinosaurs, we have been able to develop something as basic as a geological timescale that shows everyone in the world what the world was. Are we geoscientists of today able to adapt and apply our knowledge to show the world that will come after us what the world is? So let's go. No poverty. What are the options here for us? No poverty for geoscience is the skill we can that we can adapt to resource assessments, infrastructure development, climate change adaptation. When it comes to zero hunger, soil management is important. Our understanding of water, the aquifer, and climate change adaptation again. When it comes to good health and well-being, water quality is important. So your hydrogeology is not only to drill water and leave it. you are also affecting good health and well-being. So my challenge is, I hope at the end of this, we'll see geoscientists who are brave enough to start looking for opportunities in pharmaceutical companies, or even, up and about various companies that naturally a geoscientist will not think that their skill set is needed. Same thing for quality education. What do we do? I mean, everybody knows that those who know me know that energy communication is at the crux of what I do. Policy and advocacy, as NAPE is doing, and curriculum and capacity building, as our UAP community keeps doing, as well as all the other professional associations that are geocentric. The same thing for gender equality. NAPE as an organization is big on promoting diversity, practicing equity. We also look at opportunities for education and outreaches. These are the skill sets. It's not an organizational skill set. It is a subject skill set. The same thing for the other SDG goals, and I'm just going to run through them quickly. For clean water and sanitation, what do we need to do? Aquifer mapping, water quality monitoring. For affordable energy, affordable and clean energy, carbon management, sustainable oil and gas, renewable energy development, hydroelectric power, renewable powers, alternative energy, even sustainability as a subject, and energy efficiency. For decent work and growth, I mean, the lists are endless. So I'm just going to go through it and hope that you have the patience to see yourself across these SDG goals and how your skill sets that you have can actually make lasting impacts. For industry and innovation, geotechnical engineering, extractive industries, resource exploitation and exploration, think about even the evolution of renewable or alternative energy, low carbon sources. Number one, gas is going to be a part of it. Lithium is a part of it. Everything that is alternative or renewable energy has its roots in minerals exploration. Same thing for reduced inequalities, inclusive planning, environmental justice, ensuring that the data that we use is transparent. One of the services we offer at Sproule is something called expert witness. And what we do with expert witnesses is ensuring that the two parties, maybe there are two warring parties, we take their data and we ensure that our representation of the data is transparent enough that justice can be made. So it's a geology concept, it's not an organizational concept. Same thing for sustainable cities and communities, urban planning, natural hazard assessment, water and waste management, and so on and so forth. I mean, these lists are endless. This is my attempt to, share and expose our mind to the possibilities of geology. Resource management, disposal sites assessments, contamination monitoring when it comes to responsible consumption and production. And this is not only for energy companies or hydro companies or companies that have been skilled to be geological oriented. This is SDG problem solving. For climate action, we have the list that I've also put up. Carbon management, everyone is talking about CCUS, carbon capture, sequestration, utilization, storage. These are the things that the world has agreed will change the world. The geoscience is fundamentally in the midst of this problem solving. How do we map hazard? How do we ensure that our carbon energy systems, they get lower? Our climate risk and assessments, research and assessments. How do we help our policy that are being churned out to ensure that results are gotten from the implementations of these various actions? Same thing about life below water. Your knowledge of marine resources, ocean exploration, marine conservation, coastal zone management, pollution monitoring will help us to reduce the rate at which the species under the water are going extinct. The same thing for life on land. Habitat restoration, land use planning, etc., etc. I'm just going to run along very quickly. I've talked about how geoscience, when I gave the example of our expert services at expert witness services at Sproule, it also helps with conflict resolution. It helps with scientific evidence for the rule of law, knowledge sharing for policy decision making. And in all of it, if you remember the chart that I showed you from the pool from various people, adaptation was a key. Our knowledge, our interpersonal skill was also very crucial. So collaboration and networking data sharing, public engagement and outreach, and the fact that we need to keep telling people about geoscience and the multivariation of it. Okay, so without belaboring the point, now let's go to energy and technology realities. Everyone talks about energy transition. So I decided to, relax on that and talk about technology transition and how it relates to energy transition. A lot of things are going to change in our world. Artificial intelligence is going to challenge how we think. It's already challenging how we think. But in relation to how we speak and how we solve problems as geoscientists, we must be able to harness the power of these 5 big technology realities that is right here with us. What competencies do we need to harness this? Very important for now is our understanding of lower carbon fuel. Networking and leadership is going to help. Project management, scientific thinking, geoscientific thinking, and data skill. So I guess the question on a lot of people's mind will be, what's the difference between scientific thinking and geoscientific thinking? Scientific thinking are things around research, writing essays, theses, presentations. Those are scientific thinking, the way we present our scientific work. Geoscientific thinking is ingrained in our understanding of the core concept of how the earth was made, how natural resources are deposited, and how these natural resources evolve over time. So you think evolution, you think about the principles I talked about, think about the geo concepts I also mentioned earlier. This is about my final slide. I said I was going to not talk about it, but I want you to look at this. If this is the future, the geoscientist in you, in me, is everywhere solving problem. So after this, I hope that it will not be a talk about how useful is this course. It will be a talk about how do I adapt my knowledge to make the future relevant for the geoscientists. So imagine this is the future. We're still going to have subjects of volcano. We're still going to have hydropower because the world wants cleaner energy, museum curation, because you have to tell people and explain about the past. We have hydrogeology, we have geological disposal of radioactive waste, etc., etc. This slide is from the Geological Society of London and is available on their website. So please, if any time you feel challenged as to what's the future of this subject, please look at this and find yourself in our future. My closing remarks. I talked about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, but I like to narrow them down into this top 4 global challenge. Climate change and loss of biodiversity, violence and conflicts, discrimination and inequality, lack of food, water, and housing. So all of those 16, if you think about it, we can map them into these 4. What would the geoscientists do? You must always think of natural resources management. Climate change is about natural resource management. Food is about natural resources management. In your mind, you are probably asking, so how is violence and conflict about natural resources management? Think about the wars that are right now. Is it not about laws of, this is my land, I own this oil, I'm not going to supply you gas? The geoscientists must always think natural resources management every time. Think about this presence, technology, energy, and the various transitions that we have. How are you evolving your skill sets? How are you adapting it? And think about the future. The solution must remain our understanding of the principles and how we adapt this, our multi-skills and multi-knowledge of the subsurface. Final slide. I told you that I realized that it's not only shepherds and farmers that are in the Bible. So I'm leaving you with this. Miners dig the hardest rock. We dig mountains away at their bases. We tunnel through the rock. We discover precious stones. We dig to the sources of river. And in all of this, what we do is to bring to light what is hidden. So as a geoscientist, my challenge to you is to please bring to light what is Eden. And it's on that note that I'd like to say thank you to Sproule, my management, thank you to Nape, and to every one of you that have been on this call at this time. I say thank you very much. Back to you, Dr. Dave.
Wow, wow, wow. What a mouthful. Thank you very much, Tunbosun. And my chair, Awka Keke.
Yes, sir.
You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much. So I would try and so sorry, my MD is calling me. Just 1 minute. It shouldn't take.
All right.
Can I call you back in a few minutes? Is that possible? Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. Okay. All right. So this is awesome. It's not too many things that I describe as awesome, but this is good. And for me, I look at this and I say, wow, these are the things that God has called me to, to be an earth scientist. So it's not just something I've gone to learn. It's a calling, and a calling that applies to almost everything, as it were, almost everything. Happy about I took down a few notes. The key points: bedrock, the principles, multivariate geosciences, the lasting impacts. That in particular, and then the energy and technology transitions. Geosciences, of the future. What will it look like? And what I like about this is, most times when energy transition is being discussed, we as scientists, we tend to be defensive. We tend to kind of say, no, it's not going to happen. But the truth is that it will happen. It's happening. We didn't go from stones, for example, to coal because we ran out of stones. But the geoscientists found that there was something better, something that would provide better energy. And that's how we've gone from coal, that's how we've gone to oil and gas. That is the geoscientists, doing all that and leading that effort. So when we talk about transition, we should actually be in the forefront. Again, I'm trying to summarize. Ours should be about, there are those times when there's one or two other skills that you need to learn to add to what you have. Rather than saying, oh, we are going to be out of jobs, is to get that one or two other skills, add them, and then apply what we are to our communities. I'll tell you something about my village. We drilled a number of boreholes, and they were all dry, including the one that was drilled for me. Until somebody came and applied some geology, did some aquifer mapping, and then drilled a borehole for somebody who is not an earth scientist, and they found water. And to tell you sincerely, I was a little bit ashamed of myself. Here I am, an earth scientist who should have insisted on aquifer mapping before drilling mine. I did not do that, and I had a dry hole. Somebody else, I can't remember, is he a lawyer or something else, now said, hey, my friends have done some aquifer mapping before they drilled. Why don't you guys do that for our area before you drill mine? And they found water. So we as earth scientists, there's a lot that is in us. Like I said, there might be those times when we need to go learn something little to add to what we have. And then we would actually be leaders in pushing the energy transition. I don't want to go through the notes I've written, just what kind of, but just to say, I really want to see a discussion. And I'm hoping that there are many young people on the platform today, so that rather than trying to say, oh, maybe I need to go read law or go read pharmacy, see what is that additional skill you need to acquire. And you find that you have a role in law, you have a role in medicine, you have a role in agric. I think I will stop there. I really feel like stopping there. And then my understanding is that Dr. Oge would help us look at the platform, see what the comments are. Those who have questions, if they need to be unmuted, or she would read the questions, and Tunbosun would help us with answers. Thank you, my coordinator.
All right. Thank you, Oga Keke. Okay, is yet to join, but let me try and quickly see. There are already some questions and comments. First, we have a commendation from our past president, Madam Doja. She said it was a fantastic presentation, ma'am. Thank you for showcasing the different paths for geoscientists, guided by the 17 SDGs. Now, her question. There is very little attention paid to the integration of geoscience and health and conflict resolution. Like you pointed out, geoscience can help in forensic crime solving. Any thought, and she's asking, is there any thoughts how we can adapt this in the universities? They already teach the required courses, but not the real life application of those skills. And Tunbosun, you want to go for it? Yeah,
yes,
all right.
Definitely. And this is quite an interesting question and subject, because at the last NAPE conference, this was something I and Nkem shared on, around the need to adopt our curriculum. There is the impressive need to begin to challenge what we are teaching in our schools. The world, being a global village, is not global for technology, it's also global for knowledge. If we do a survey of what our graduates know, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, half of the time it is the extra knowledge outside of school that exposes them to how they can adapt their geology skill. The fundamentals being taught are still right, but the adaptation of it is what we need to look at. So how do we adopt it in the university? NAPE is onto something great with the industry. I think it's the industry trainer partnership. Haved is also talked about today, where we can challenge the theoretical aspects that our students, all of us, are being taught in school, to start asking, so what does this solve? What problem does your knowledge of micropaleontology solve? Or maybe it's our students that will challenge us. So now you have taught me this plate tectonics. What problem does it solve? How can I use this knowledge? So it's got to be something that an association like that, like NAPE, like NMGS, like even the NUC, which was also the conversation we had last year at the All Convention luncheon. There must be that deliberate attempt to, and I don't want to use the word overhaul, but I think our pathway is asking for adaptation, asking that this knowledge must be adaptable to current happenings. So fundamentally, that's the way I think we need to get through. It's not throwing away what we have, it's introducing adaptation of this knowledge. I hope that helps, Madam D.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So a lot of comments. Let me quickly go. Just at least it also helped to recognize people that are on call. We have Fejiro. She was like, "Wow." We have Laken. Awesome presentation. Thank you. We also have Dave and Amara. Wow, powerful presentation. We have the likes of Tesi. Excellent delivery. Mercy, thank you, ma. That was a wonderful presentation. Fejiro, beautiful slide with awesome presentation and a challenging reflection left for us. Thank you so much, TA. And brilliant presentation, well done from Frank. Oluwasegun was insightful presentation and great delivery. We also have Deboshola. I joined in quite late, but I love where I met you. Lovely presentation. I have been getting a lot of questions about the future of geosciences. Deboshola, Good, Etienne. I hope this presentation will try to answer some of your questions. We also have Julius Awka. Well done, Tunbosun. It's becoming obvious that curriculum readjust is the new normal. Quite an interesting thought there. We also have Tosin. Awesome presentation here and a lot of reflections, lessons, and takeaway. We also have a fine or four. It says, awesome presentation with well-detailed slide. Thank you very much, TA. We also have Ghanaians. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, man. We also have our own Professor Ekwe. It was good presentation. Thank you. We also have all right. We have Marietta Mba Mamtie. You are amazing. Thank you so much for the awesome presentation. It was both enlightening and inspiring. Well done. We also have our very own Bethel, a brilliant presentation. Thank you, Mrs. Tunbosun. There is one from Chidirum Dasobona. Say, thank you, TA. This was an amazing yet challenging presentation for me. You answered a top question in my heart. What does a geoscientist really do beyond subsurface exploration? You showed how the vast aspects of geoscience can be rightly applied. You had also made mention of how geoscience can be applied to the food sector, interesting, waste management, and towards the discovery of a cleaner energy, which is a very interesting aspect for me. Thanks again, ma'am. So it goes on and on. So somebody say, I joined late. Can we have YouTube link for the presentation? Thank you. Sure. As a coordinator, I'm promising you that the YouTube recorded link will be shared. We also have Professor Obiade. So you, those online, you can also indicate by raising your hands to ask questions. We will cite you from here. Earlier on, we have Professor Paul Nnabo. He raised his hand. I don't know whether he's still on the call. You can unmute and ask your questions. You can indicate by a raise of hands. And we'll see that. Tunbosun, I don't know whether you want to just make some comment on some of those things I read out.
I guess the challenge is really to what Madam Dodger has asked around, how do we teach these things? So it's good to have knowledge. It's good to know that you have knowledge, but then what do you do with the knowledge? If the curriculum change doesn't happen fast, then you have to change. And your changing starts with you asking for every concept that you learn in school and for us in the workplace as well. How does this help solve my organizational problem? I like to share a reflection. When I was working in the hydrogeology sector, we were actually drilling water for rural people in plateau states. That was one of my first application of geoscience. And it was interesting because beyond us seeing water or reaching the aquifer, I saw the joy on people's face, like, oh, we were actually solving real problems. So it makes me to question, for every work that I do, if I don't see the joy on people's face, I'm questioning myself, have I really made impacts? So maybe we'll make it both a hard skill and a soft skill. In first solving problem, but in also asking, how have I left the people that I've solved the problem for? I mean, there are a lot of reflections we can take from what Julius also said. The curriculum readjusts. I don't even want us to change the curriculum. I want us to start to think adaptation for the curriculum. Let's bring in opportunities to adapt this knowledge that geoscientists learn. So they go to the field trip and they map schists. And so what? What problem does it solve? Do they know even how to cut the stones? One of my early exposure was also to cut stones. I worked as a lapidarist for a while. And it changed my mind about precious stones. It changed my mind about when you map for precious stones. The way you even map for it, it changes if you know how the jewelries are made. So take a stretch of your knowledge. So now I know how to mine for precious stones. Do I know how to refine it? Do I have an understanding of the market of jewelries, for example? And so on and so forth. So maybe it starts with us geoscientists stretching ourselves. Maybe if the world sees geoscientists applying for the most unexpected jobs, maybe, just maybe.
All right. We have a hand raised, Professor Anyam. You can unmute and ask your question, Prof. Number check. So, Prof, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Prof.
Yes, please. Thank you, Tunbosun. Mine is a commendation, it's not a question. I agree with you on all the points in terms of curriculum. We really need to do some plugins. We can't remove the ones we have, but then we have to look at the realities on the ground and see how to adjust to the realities. So that's really very important. And of course, it has to come from the top, NUC, then down to us. Well, yes, in the universities, yes, we're trying to pull in some of these. But then, of course, you need to also align it with the standard set already by the National Universities Commission. And I think with time, we'll get to that point. Thank you so much for your good delivery. And that's a nice one. Cheers.
Thank you, Prof. I was going to say, if you ask me a difficult question, that's all the prof on this call will answer you. But thank you for thank you, Prof. I appreciate that.
Cheers. All right. Okay. Cheers.
All right. More hands are raised than me. Yeah. So we also have Professor Mode on the call. Prof, you can unmute and ask your question. And Guinea, you will get to you.
Okay, good afternoon. Tunbosun. Unfortunately, I prepared so much to be part of this, but something else pulled me out. So I came after you had delivered. But as I'm very happy because I know that you will not disappoint me. And from all recommendations, I know it was fantastic. Now, what I want to say is, I don't think curriculum is not our problem, but we need a change of attitude, both the teachers and the learners. We need to, first of all, embrace learning as a continuous thing. It's not, oh, I got my PhD here, I am a professor, I am an expert in this, and that's where it ends. No, we must be ready to keep on learning new skills and then thinking about how the knowledge we have can be adapted to really solve problems. So that's the way forward. Even the students, they must also think beyond holding that paper. I made first class and all that. It doesn't help anybody if you cannot solve a problem. So we need a change of mindset. Once again, thank you. I also appreciate Napi for putting up this very wonderful topic. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, Prof.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Gani, you can go ahead with your question. Unmute and go ahead.
It's an afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to appreciate Madam Tunbosun for that presentation. Although, like I wrote, I joined quite late. I came in when the accolades were coming for the presentation. So that was why I asked if I can get the YouTube link. But I got something from discussion and from what has been written on the comment section about curriculum. And I know sometimes it might not actually be about the curriculum. It might also be about the person that is taking the curriculum the teacher and the learner. And I'm very happy about this NAPE peer-to-teach program that is coming up. I want to ask, Madam Tunbosun, I hope you have volunteered to be part of that industrial people that will be teaching. Because with this insight and with this knowledge you have dished out, I think that may also help in shaping some of our attitude and ideology about this geoscience. So my question is, I hope, okay, let me ask you, if you have volunteered to be part of the—
That's a straight bullet. Go ahead.
Okay, I haven't volunteered, but I will now.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So we also have a comment from our former editor, Professor Lawrence Fadia. He said, "Thank you, Tunbosun, for the wonderful presentation. Hold on, please. Yes, thank you, Tunbosun, for the wonderful presentation. This is exactly what we give out in the introductory geology class to help the students see the broad opportunity geology offers. Thanks again." My chair, okay. Okay, I think there's a hand on the, Madam Doja, please go ahead. Unmute.
Thank you, sir. Sorry that I'm asking again, but presentations like this are they challenge our thinking beyond our standard, inside the box kind of frame that we tend to. Geoscience is so broad, and Tunbosun has really, her presentation opens our minds to possibilities. And I think that it would be a disservice to her presentation and to ourselves as geoscientists if we just listen to this and let it be. And that, okay, fantastic presentation, and that was that. I had already posted the question, and I said, many industry practitioners and professional societies like NAPE, NMGS, we have influence on the technical curriculum of universities. And we just agree that the curriculum may not necessarily be the problem, but the adaptation is what we need to look at. Now, we have solid minerals as a very important sector in Nigeria, but there's a lot of motion, but very little movement. The minister goes and we're talking investors, but we're not really seeing the contributions of the solid mineral sector into the economy. There's a lot of illegal mining controlled by mining engineers, foreigners, and artisanal mining. But you can imagine if all that money comes into our economy, it will balance out the oil receipts from oil and gas. Now, what is my question, I think, is what I want to challenge us is, look, can we set up workshops and seminars that would hands-on develop our interests as geoscientists in not only solid minerals, we have a whole bunch of things, but if you travel to some foreign countries like Israel, you find small shops that are set around like semi-precious stones, malachite, those kinds of things. They sell them and people buy. Why can't we do the same thing here? We have quartz. You can polish these things. We can sell them and people can make money. But we are not even looking, as geoscientists, we're not looking into empowering our people or actually taking charge or putting ourselves out there, maybe building our skill sets to actually go after solid minerals with the opportunities that are available, as limited as they are. So I'm trying to say, what can we do practically now that we can put pen to paper and say, look, let us do this as her presentation has challenged us, what are the things that we can do practically? Thank you.
Wow. Inside the question, I see suggestion and
it's just a thought that, look, people in APE are here, people in NMGS are here. Can we follow up on this? Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. We hear you.
Okay, I apologize. Where I am is quite noisy, but I was prompted to speak and just collaborate with the previous speaker on what she mentioned about the solid minerals and the interest of geoscientists in that sector. So sometimes during this month, there was a program organized by the Secular Society. Okay, not really a program, it's a roadmap. It was a roadmap review session, and it was towards the policy on it was Circular Economy Roadmap Review Session hosted by the Federal Ministry of the Environment in collaboration with the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Lagos. I was opportune to find myself in that gathering, and unfortunately, the representation of the mining association. So I expected societies like COMEG to be a part of that policy review session. You'll be surprised that on that table, okay, I just went there independently on my own. I just found myself there. But on the table where they were supposed to review the policy in the mining industry, we were just about 4 there. Okay, wow. I don't have any experience there, but I just thought, okay, that's where I belong because of my background in geology. So I was quite disappointed that this is a big loophole, especially with a lot of solid minerals like lithium being explored and being sought after now in the globally. So I was quite disappointed. I think a lot needs to be done. I spoke with a federal representative there, and he was speaking to me that they just give out the license. I was a bit disappointed because they don't really understand the impact of mining. Okay, I'm not so vast in that industry, but I know that lithium poses a lot of danger to the environment. So there are a lot of policies that should be put in place to mitigate such. So the way he told me, they just give out these mining licenses to people that if I know anybody, I can bring. So I felt the experts should have been present there. I tried to speak with the organizers. I didn't really reach out to the right stakeholders to partake in this. So I just feel there's a lot of awareness and publicity that needs to be done, and a lot of interest in the geoscience world. People need to show more interest in such, especially with the trend of things in the world now, secularity, sustainability, and all. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Sorry for the background noise.
No problem, Adeboshola. Thank you for that insight. People, so you want to talk around what Adeboshola said and what Madam Georgia just, suggestion and more or less, yeah. I think
I'll wrap it up. I mean, across three. I don't want to say concepts, but 3 thoughts, right? Every geoscientist must henceforth have 3 skills. Number 1 is your technical knowledge of geology, of geoscience, of earth resources, whatever it is. Number 2 is your functional skills. How do you adapt this knowledge? And in talking about functional skill, I would like to share a very brief, personal story. I worked as a global product owner in a software development, and I was using my geology skill. Interestingly, it was purely software excellence we were discussing, but the core skill that I took to the table was my technical skill of geoscience, because the product we were building was a product that was supposed to do subsurface and surface evaluation. And the reason why I got that role was because I could adapt my geoscience skill into what the coders were building. That's number 2. So your technical skill is important. Your functional skill and its adaptability And then the third one is we must also evolve as people, as a subject, as an organization. And that leads me to technology skills. Things that we call technology today have been existing in the geoscience discipline or subjects for a long time. We have been doing neural network. We have been doing data gathering. Technology is not new to the geoscientists, but we have a hard time in appreciating or maybe evolving as the time goes. So everyone has been doing, what was the tool? Electrical resistivity, for example. That's technology that we have been using to find water for a long time. Magnetic, remote sensing, gravity, these are technology, but we see them as a tool. We don't see them as adaptable tools. So those are the three skills I would say. Even NAPE, if we have to do outreaches, we cannot, for the sake of, we are a geoscience society, and the only thing we are going to keep talking about is biostratigraphy, is paleontology, is fossil understanding, or talking about tectonics. If your tectonics does not solve problem, then it's no tectonics. So maybe it would also shape our thinking, helping our members, helping our university, helping ourselves. Technical skills, functional skills, and evolving IT skills. If we can put our knowledge together across these three skills, I think the world will be our oysters as geoscientists. I mean, there was no other way I could, share it, because we will say, and then we need to wait for NUC, then we will need to wait for COMEG, then we will need to wait for, but we are not going to wait for ourselves. Like I personally, if I'm interviewing someone, you don't have anybody to wait on to. So if you can demonstrate these three skills, or you can stretch yourself in understanding that your knowledge, for example, of uniformitarianism also applies to how you solve strategic problem in the workplace. If you can demonstrate that, everyone will want to listen to the geoscientist. So that's the way I can put it. The question was not to me, Madam Doja made it clear. It was a challenge to all of us as NAPE ambassadors to start thinking forward.
All right. So before we get to the last question by Dr. Adobe, with the permission of my chair, Oga Keke, let me quickly read what we have so far. We have the likes of Professor Adebaniji. Prof, good to have you on the call. He said, that was a wonderful presentation. You have said it all. Thank you so much, Tunbosun. We also have Fulwa Idris. He said, sir, I agree that we need a mindset shift. As an undergraduate, we were taught Python programming and statistics, but I never understood the importance until I stumbled upon data science as an unemployed graduate. It's not enough to restructure the curriculum, but we need to know the why of what we are studying. I would have taken some courses more seriously if I knew and understood the importance and application. Wow, quite interesting. We also have from Olakin, he said, the world is evolving and geoscientists need to evolve as well. Geoscientists need to pick up financial literacy skills. Amazing, financial literacy skills. This will broaden the mindset and perspectives about geology subjects. Then we also have Doja. I'm actually feeling the passion of Madam Doja in this conversation. You see, an example of thinking out of our current box in solid minerals. Can NMGS, I will also say, in connection with NAPE, consider setting up gemstone workshops in a few universities or as a pre-conference courses? Madam Doja, I have to tell you, we will follow up on this. This is interesting. Like you said, we have NMGS members on the call. We also have NAPE members on this call. Most of us have been out of school for a long time. If we see gemstones in their natural state, we would never recognize them. You're right. Somebody showed me the gun, if I use that language, harboring lithium. I didn't realize that. He was telling him, this is lithium. So confirm you can still hear me again, please. All right. Ada, Dr. Ada, Deputy Coordinator, please, the floor is yours. You can ask your question so we can begin to.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Tunbosun, for this very informative lecture. My own is not a question, rather, it's just to make a little contribution. I think this presentation has posed a little challenge on our lecturers on the way they impact knowledge to our students, our young ones. It's we can now see that normal theoretical lecture, everyday theoretical, is not beneficial to us and to the nation at large, especially now that the economy is somehow. So it's time for us to divert a bit and go into the practical aspect of everything we do. In some other countries, especially in China, even from Cradle, they teach them practical aspect of whatever they do and how that thing can contribute to the society, not only the practical, but how it can impact positively to the society. The kindergartens, they have little toys they build in their kindergarten section. As they mature, what they build, the technicality and the innovative level of what they build increases. We need to go to these aspects. Thank God for, and thank you for the last, the person that spoke on gemstone. I wanted to speak about it also because I, for one, I also have a geologist in my house now. Every day will ask me, Mommy, which way forward, which way, what will I say, you need to. Very soon now you'll be going to just to learn on lapidary. So I want to ask and encourage NAPE to go into that section. We have a lot of gemstones in Nigeria. Wasting a gemstone, you can just, once you, ordinary stone near your house, once you bring it and cut it properly and polish it, it turns into a different thing altogether. The price changes altogether. So we have gone far from when we used to teach in geochemistry, in organic geochemistry, they teach this kind of mineral. We have quartz, we have tantalite, we have all these minerals. What would that contribute to the society? If you know the names of all the minerals in the whole world, how can it contribute to the society? So we need to go a further step in the way we lecture, in the way we open up the brains of our young ones, so that they will start thinking wide. They will not just come out and start thinking wide. It is the lecturers, it is the impactors of education that is going to open their brain in such a way that they will start thinking in a wide set of manner. So I'm happy NAPE is also going into the solid mineral axis of the economy. I would like us to look into how we train some group of people, how we'll start training some people on that side, on the gemstone side, on the precious stone side, how we will start, even if it entails bringing in people from outside the country, not only polishing, but how to beneficiate those minerals more into using them for jewelry making, for clothing and otherwise. We need to move step further, especially now that we are producing a lot of geologists. All of them, they will know how to do technology, this one, petrol and all. What are they doing with it? So we need to be truthful to ourselves from now. Thank you to Tunbosun once more for this brain-widening lecture, and we look forward for making use of what we learned here. Let's make use of what we learned here for our further development. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I would like to bring in Oga Keke. Maybe you come in and wrap up with our guest speaker before the. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks Tunbosun for the presentation, and thanks for everyone who has asked a question, who has made a contribution. We are indeed very, very grateful. And thanks again for this opportunity to share this event. Our coordinator, thank you. I will hand over to you at this point. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. While we are still on the call, I would like to invite the publicity secretary, if he's on the call. Oxton Mbemere.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much. It's time for announcements. So I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone who is on this call and to also say a very big thank you to the presenter, Mrs. Tunbosun Afolayan, and to also say a very big thank you to the Awka Owerri chapter for organizing such an insightful presentation. So running through the announcements, we have a special technical business meeting coming up in the month of March for those of us in Lagos. And of course, for those of us outside Lagos, we are also going to be having the opportunity for us to stream on Zoom for those of us who are outside. And it's going to be special because it's going to be in honor of one of our distinguished fellow and member, Mr. KK Kano, who will be turning 70 very soon. And we're going to be celebrating him, and then also to let him know that we appreciate his good work.
Wow.
And being a member.
We clap from here.
Yes. So, and we're going to be having Mr. Joseph Chinye, who will be delivering a presentation on application of customized permeability and saturation height function model to fields in Niger Delta. Next, we have technical meeting from, okay. For the month of April, we're going to be having a technical meeting, which will be sponsored by Harvest Geosolutions, and it's going to be titled Capturing the Future, the Energy and the Geophysics of Carbon Storage. That will be at a hotel. Details will also be shared if we're going to be having a streaming functionality to that. Also, our latest chapter, the North American chapter, will be holding their maiden edition of their technical business meeting, and that will be delivered by no other than Dr. Nosa Omorodio F. Nape, who is also a member of our board of trustees. He'll be delivering the paper, and it will be titled Latent Opportunities in Nigeria's Rapidly Evolving Energy Landscape, and that will be sponsored by Lekoye. More details will be provided as we move on. That will be holding on 21st of March, 2024. Then Port Harcourt chapter will also be holding their technical meeting, and that will be delivered by Dr. Adelola Adeshida. So please do well to join. There's also going to be the online component for those of us that want to join the technical meeting for Port Harcourt. Okay, just to mention, right now we are also exhibiting at the ongoing Nigerian International Energy Summit holding right here in Abuja. As you all know, most of us are in Abuja currently, where we are exhibiting and also engaging with stakeholders, and while also using the opportunity to promote the association and also drive publicity for our conference that will be coming up in November. So if you are in Abuja at this time, please do well to visit us at booth B47. All right, so this weekend we're going to be having a NAPE UAP engagement, which is tagged Meet the President. So we're going to be having students across Nigeria who will have the opportunity to interact and engage with the NAPE President, Mr. Biodun Ogunjobi F. NAPE, and that will be holding on the 2nd of March, 2024. So please, if you are a student on the call, please do well to join and attend. And for any inquiries, you might need to reach out to Dr. Ifeanyi Obi, who is the UAP chair for NAPE. Thank you. All right, just to announce that we've started publicity and for the 2024 NAPE Annual International Conference and Exhibition, which is themed Resolving the Nigerian's Energy Trilemma, Energy Security, Sustainable Growth, and Affordability. and that will be coming up from 10th to 14th of November 2024 at a hotel and suite. So please, you might also need to help us share materials regarding this conference so that we can have enough publicity for the conference this year. All right, just as I also mentioned that we've started publicity for the conference, we've also started building the building blocks leading to the conference. So the call for abstracts is already out. So perhaps you want to make a paper presentation during the conference, please do well to make your submission. We've started receiving entries. The link for receiving entries is already open. And we already have the first deadline, which will be the 31st of July. However, do not wait for 31st of July before you submit your abstract, please. Try as much as possible to submit it as quickly as possible so that we can actually have your abstract. All right, so for exhibition, the exhibition floor is already getting booked. So please, perhaps you know of any company around where you are, or perhaps your company wants to exhibit at this year's conference. Please do well to reach out to the exhibitions committee, ably led by Abidemi Belgore of SNEPCO. Please reach out to her as quickly as possible because spaces are filling up as fast as possible. We're already about 80% sold out right now. So please do well to reach out so that you can also take advantage of the remaining spaces that are available. And for the conference registration, the portal is going to be open very soon, and that will be at conference.nape.org.ng. NAPE dues, for those of us who have not paid up our dues, this is a reminder that it's time to pay up our dues. And for student members, you reduce 2,000 naira. For active members, it's 12,000. For associate members, it's 12,000. For corporate members, it's 50,000 naira per year. So please do well to renew your membership. If you have any inquiry of any question that you may have, please do well to reach out to Abiyewa of the NAPE Secretariat, and she. Okay, so that's the so you can copy the phone number. Probably if there are questions that you have, really attend to it. Bookings for technical meetings, the chapters as well, and also receiving paper presentations. Looking to leverage the NAPE platform to share knowledge and ideas. So please, Chairman NAPE Continuing Education Program, and he will guide you in. Bless. May I now hand over Winston Dean. Thank you and God bless.
All right. Thank you very much, our able PS. Wow. NAPE is quite loaded, and thank you for sharing with us. I believe this is the first time we are hearing the call for abstract and what have you. I don't know, Dr. Sufolobo, are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm here, my coordinator.
You may want to add your voice to that so that we can, yeah, please.
Yes, maybe the PS just bring back that call for abstract slide so I can speak to that more.
Please, sir, PS, please do the call for abstract so that the EIC can do more to it. Hello, Tunde, are you still
PS
there?
Yeah. I think it's awful. Okay, let me just.
Yeah, I think.
Currently, we have the team and the sub team. We have 8 different areas for the sub teams, which our different interests. But before I go ahead, let me just say thank you to Tunbosun. That was a wonderful. Maybe we will request that we book you down for November, if something like this can still be, presented to a general house, so that more people, when the old ones, can start thinking of what relevancy we have. Tunbosun.
Is Tunbosun still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, please just kindly tell her that we are booking her down for November already.
Prof, I'm here.
We have to do a general. we might have to present you for a general presentation in November. So I'm requesting for your acceptance now. I don't need to wait till then.
Don't do
Maybe it's
that,
going to be one of our
we are
special
on camera.
presentations. It doesn't matter. He said,
I beg, you can't put my daughter on the spot. You can't put her
on the spot.
No, Okay, KK, I have the right and the permission of the president to put her on the spot. Thank you for accepting to do presentation for us in November. Okay. So we said we have different areas that we can start thinking of. Please, submission as open.
Yeah. My EIC, maybe you readjust a little bit. We are losing you. Okay.
To wait till the end of July before we can submit. We can start submitting our paper. Submission of. Okay, are you hearing? Hello, are you hearing me? Hello, Dean. Hello, Dean, are you hearing me?
Much better. Much better.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes. So we have the team already as PS, resolving around EMEA, the energy security, sustainability, growth, affordability. These are the different sub-teams we have. And I want to believe that at least every one of us will have an interest. Especially, we also have some program fit for November. We have short courses that Tunbosun is also already booked for one of them. So a lot of it I want to see how physically you will see in November. Full on ground. Our deadlines for submission of abstract is July. Please, we might not be extending like what happened last year. That becomes and change it. The acceptance letter will start coming out from September. So sit down and review those papers before. But if there's any inquiry, please, the editor-in-chief, the coordinator, the award-winning coordinator, yeah. Back to you.
All right.
Did you hear that?
Thank you very much.
Award-winning coordinator.
Thank you very much, our EIC. Because we know the president-elect is still on the call. Quickly, we have a tradition. If this were to be physical, we would have handed over the plaque directly. On behalf of the president, I have sent an e-copy to the speaker. The speaker, please kindly confirm you have got the e-copy. The main plaque will be with deal. This guy maybe by DHL to you. I would like to call on our president-elect, Oga JB, Tunbosun to please, to thank as many that have joined the call and also wrap up for us. Vote of thanks from you.
Nape, please, always complete.
Sure. Tunbosun F. Nape.
Thank you very much, my coordinator. And again, thank you, EIC. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've been on the call actually from the beginning till now, just to show the interest and how powerful the topic and the energy in the room has been. Again, it is one of our own, Tunbosun Afolayan, so we know what she can do and continues to do. So I really want to first of all say many thanks to our speaker for the topic around the multivariate nature of geosciences and how we can build a lasting impact. And I think what you've done today really is just a bit of mindset shift and to challenge us like most of the contributors mentioned. If not because of the creativity and innovation of people, then all the evolution and things we've been having will not happen. And it takes somebody to challenge the status quo, to say, can we do things differently? And I think that's what you've succeeded in doing today to every one of us on the call. So I really want to say on behalf of NAPE, both the executive, the BOT, SC, and all members to say thanks for this wonderful presentation you made today to yourself. Then I also want to recognize our chairman, who, KK, again, you already had the announcement. Next week, we're going to be celebrating him as well for a landmark age, if I will reveal, 70. And of course, a special technical session in that honor happening next week. So thanks for chairing this session for the technical meeting of today. I also want to say a big thank you to our fellows on the call and really the archival and the really Precambrian fellows, past presidents on the call. I see Doja Ojalabi, who also is a member of the Board of Trustees, to say thanks for being with us today.
You call me Precambrian?
I didn't hear that though.
Okay. Oh,
we are going to find you,
no, but really thanks. At least each time we see you around, again, we feel good. But thanks. And all the other fellows, again, I see some of the advisory council members on the call. I also see other fellows, Duro Butan on the call. Kano already mentioned, and our professors as well, who all dialed in. So I can't go one by one, but just to say, it has been quite good to have every single one of you. And then, of course, the executive committee members who worked day in and out to ensure that we continue to deliver for this association. So thanks for joining us today. And then to every other person that has been on the call, at some point, I think I checked, we were probably in excess of maybe around 60 or so. So which, again, shows the interest that people have for the session today. So really thanks for joining. And then very especially our host, the ESCO members of Awka chapter and the members of Awka chapter. Again, thanks for all you continue to do. Again, you started quite well in the month of February. We know what you continue to do. Again, for us, we are a technical professional body. So this kind of topic, bringing this discussion to the public, is what our job should be. So I really want to say thanks to everybody. And it has been a good afternoon, starting in the morning and then into this afternoon. I will keep it going. I think we'll keep it going. As the announcement already came in, you see a lot of other things coming up. So please just continue to dial in. The dynamism we are bringing in, just make sure you tune to it, and we'll continue to deliver for you. Again, the conference, I don't want to say much about it. It's already been announced, but just roll up your sleeves and then get into the mood of the conference, because it has just started the planning. So with that, I will say thanks, and my coordinator, thanks again for all you've been doing for this chapter. And I believe we continue to raise SNAPE to the greater heights. So thank you, everybody, and good afternoon. And then bon appetit, and have your lunch if you haven't had it at this point in time. Back to you, my coordinator.
All right, thank you very much, Oga JB. What a very good way to end the show. Thank you, Tunbosun. Everybody can speak up. This is networking period. I want to tell you the program has come to an end, but this meet and greet, some comments are still popping up on the chat. Professor Adebaniji, good to have you. Maybe I mentioned some people that are still on the platform, a lot of them. We have Wilson, the former Owerri chapter coordinator, is on the call. Yetunde is on the call. Tesi Uzoma is on the call. Tosin is on the call. Tesi is on the call. Babalola is on the call. Fowara is on the call. Fejero, we see you. Olakan, good to have you on the call. Mariette Tamba, we see you. Oga Fadia is still on the call. Judith, we see you. Chigozibe is on the call. We also have Wunna, we also have Chukwuemeka on the call. Betel is on the call. We have Barikiso on the call. Effion, Amara Udebunu is on the call. Our Professor Ekwe is still on the call. Many, over 100 people registered for this, and also you had our president-elect. He said over 60 persons, which we saw. I met at the point 60, so we could see why the interest this have drawn. We also understand that this may be clashing with a lot of meetings, but again, it's on record. So we share the link so that people that didn't have time to join can also have access. And let the conversation continue. Tunbosun, if you are still there, or have you gone for lunch? Bon appetit.
I am here.
Meanwhile, it feels like we are having, if you close while you are still far, we enjoyed every moment of this. Once again, from Awka Owerri and all the executive of Awka Owerri and its members, we say thank you for this opportunity of sharing this knowledge with us. I want to tell you on our way to Jos, I never knew you were on the plateau. On our way, I served on the plateau too, Panshin to be precise. And we are going for COMEX, so I mean for NMGS conference. A lot of this discussion know that will be on the table. Yeah. Adebaniji, you are there. You're free to, All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye-bye, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah.
Tunde, thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.